Yo, 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 everybody, what's going on? We got Ant and Crazy Mother Runner.
Cheers.
What y'all didn't understand is when we were behind the scenes, like this was supposed to be a cross aisle, but we actually converted Crazy Mother Runner to be a conservative now. So this is going to be a conservative.
Good luck with that. I'll just keep drinking. See how that goes.
Well, we are missing Kat. She tried to make it her hardest today. She's but couldn't hold food down and not feeling good at all. So she called at the last minute and was like crying and just missing. She really was looking forward to talking with you, Jess. So she sends her misses to you.
All right. I know. I'm sad she's not here.
She was jacked about it too. She prepped all day. She's like, okay. So she got off phone with me from FaceTime. She's like, I got to take a nap because I got to get ready for tonight. And then, her body said no.
Well, I'll be honest. Like when they said that they were going to have you on as a guest, my first reaction was, okay.
He's like, I'll be busy.
I'll be sick that day.
Now, before we came on, we all three of us had a conversation. This was the first time that Jess and I ever got a chance to talk. So I'm glad that we're actually got the chance to talk beforehand. I think that you're great already. But yeah, no, there's times when we do need to come across the aisle and talk to our neighbors. And I think that this is a perfect opportunity now to do that. We've had Taryn on and her and I became very good friends. And now I hope that Jess will not trigger me today because I'm way more extreme than Kat and Tex. So.
I will.
Hey, she might be your new best friend too.
I'll try not to. I mean, it's not my intention.
Hey, look, there's your girl tearing it up.
There she is. Yes,
love you, Taryn.
She was wishing me luck today.
You were my hype girl, I heard. I heard you were my hype girl. Thank you.
Yeah, she's hoping that Crazy Mother Runner will destroy you, Aunt. That's what she's really secretly wanting.
No.
Ooh, really?
I'll be honest. I have not seen a whole, and it may be because you pre-blocked me, but I haven't seen a lot of your content outside of like the occasional stitch, which even that wasn't a lot. Like, yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of your content.
So full disclosure to everybody that's watching, I have when I had TikTok, anytime I came back on my new account. And just for you, Jess, too, like I got taken down at 800,000 followers and then I grown back to 500,000, got kicked off again. And I said, you know what? The platform doesn't deserve me. But every time I came back, I had a list of people that I went through and blocked automatically.
Blocked.
Correct.
And I made the cut. Yay.
It wasn't because I didn't like you guys. I just didn't agree with you. And therefore, the way I handle it is that I don't like your content. I don't agree with you 100%. Or if there's been issues or what, I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to not deal with it. Because I am more comedic. I'm political comedy more, but I am conservative. So I didn't really want to see your stuff. I'm sorry.
I'm going to tell you something super funny. Don't be triggered. You remind me of the right-wing Muscle and Nursing right now. I'm just going to put it out there because Muscles is one of my buddies.
Okay.
And so you are like giving me the right-wing Muscle and Nursing vibes right now.
He doesn't even know who it is.
No, because he's the same way. He's like, fuck you. I don't like you. I don't agree with you. You don't get a voice on my page. So that's basically his, like he calls himself the House of Petty. Like he gives zero shits. So yeah, you're giving me some House of Petty vibes right now. Just
I'm 100% petty. Like, it's my page. I get to do what I want. And even in the comment section, people are like, oh, you block people you don't agree with. I'm like, no, I block you because you're fucking annoying. That's why I block you. And it's my page. So if you want to give me money to run my page, then you can. Until then, block. So come back another time. Thank you. Have a good day. That's me. Yeah, I'm petty.
I used to be more petty. I've tamed my pettiness. Because I have tried to reach across the table more and jump into like random lives with conservatives. And it's really funny because I try to like do lives on my page to like kind of get people to come in and jump in the guest box or whatever with like total good intentions, like not, and I swear to, I think people are scared of me. I'm like, what the fuck? Like and I've proven that I'm not a complete twat, so I don't know why people aren't willing to
I
kill my dog.
actually caught a live with you and a conservative one time, and I was in there for a little bit, and I did unblock you so that I can comment so you would see me. And it was about abortion, actually.
Okay.
And I usually do not touch the abortion topic. A lot of my followers know this already. I don't really talk on abortion because I'm a gay man. I really don't have. I'm not going to be getting a woman pregnant, so I don't have that.
You don't have a dog in this fight, kind of thing, right?
Correct.
I mean, it is 2022. Men can get pregnant now.
Shut up, Texas.
But no, but I've never told what my shut up Texas. Not yet. Okay. Apple told us that men
Too early. It's too early.
Pour some more.
I haven't drank enough. Going on.
But what I did discover, I think, from that live was we were talking. What I do want to advocate for at some point or help with is working on our adoption system, which I think in turn could lessen some of our women that maybe get abortions because they feel like they don't know where their children are going to go after. Might not be a big percentage, but that's just how I feel. That's neither here nor there. But I wasn't allowed.
A lot of things. Not to go into it, but I think there's a lot of things that we could do on the back end that would decrease the need for abortions on a huge scale.
Sure.
And like, I mean, I know you don't talk about it, but it's something that is near and dear to me because I had one. I have 3 daughters. I'm a big advocate for bodily autonomy. If you're anti-abortion, then don't have them. Like, that's just how I feel. But, you know, and I know people in my personal life that made the decision or got in the situation where the decision needed to be made because they didn't have access to things, whether it be an education lack or resource lack. And I just feel like there's so much we could be doing to fix those things. And and I think overall that would make a huge impact on the number that happen. Because we're never going to eradicate them. It's like I get frustrated. It's the same argument with guns. When I support 2A. It's one of the few things that maybe, you know, I think I talked about this with Texas. I hate this thing because it's backwards.
I know it's backwards.
But you know, I'm 2A. I've had concealed weapon. I've been very familiar around guns my whole anyways. So, but it frustrates me because
you were raised by strong conservative people.
I really was. But the same people, I married strong conservative people. The same people that will say guns don't kill people, people kill people. And if you get rid of guns or make stricter gun laws, the criminals will still get the guns, seem to forget that mentality when we're talking about abortion. If you make abortions illegal, they're still going to happen, but at the detriment of women and mutilation and death. And so it's like, you can't have it both ways. Like if you realize something's going to still happen with or without laws with guns, then you have to realize that those same things are going to happen for desperate women and the opposing thing when it comes to bodily autonomy.
So that's a great point because I actually see where you're coming from on that. Because to touch on the guns, look, I born and raised in Illinois. Chicago has some of the strictest gun laws and the highest crime because of guns. So going off your point, even if it's illegal or it's hard to get, you're still going to get it. And you're right. If you make it illegal for women to have abortions, they're going to find ways to get it, and probably not the safest ways then at that point. And then in that sense. So I agree. I can agree with you on that. I wish the government would tell us why they need people to pay them $60,000 or $70,000 to adopt children when there's so many children that need homes.
Right.
And that's where I'm talking about on an aspect of the back end where it's like, yo, me and my husband are great. We could be great dads. Why do I have to give you $65,000 to adopt a kid?
Oh, I agree.
So tell us a little bit about where you came from. So were you always consider yourself a Democrat?
No.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about that.
So born and raised in Virginia, in Newport News, Bad News, Virginia. And I don't know. I never considered myself anything really political. I had I had blinders on pretty much most of my childhood and even early adulthood, like first out of the house. I moved out of the house when I was 18. I couldn't wait to get the hell out of home. And yeah, if it didn't directly affect me and I didn't see it in my daily life, I didn't acknowledge it. I didn't vote probably until I was in my mid 20s, actually. I mean, I didn't participate in politics at all right out of high school. Again, like I mentioned before we went live, but like my parents, I didn't even know how they voted. Like I didn't know what they supported. In religion, in regards to like religion, my grandmother and my mother both grew up like believing in God, but didn't have a denomination. Like it was like, we believe in God, we have a Bible in the house, and we pray when shit goes sideways. Like that was kind of the way religion worked. And my grandmother had a very jaded view of the church, because every time she had entered a church, she just saw a lot of hypocrisy, and it really like just kind of ruined her for church growing up. And she kind of put that on my mom. So my mom never really was into church. She married, my dad was Puerto Rican. My grandfather's from Puerto Rico. So my dad was Puerto Rican and Native American and Creole. So they, you know, my mom is white, like so white that like she's transparent. So when they were dating and married and in the early, you know, late 70s, early 80s, like she even got shit for dating him. Like she's dating a man with an afro, and, you know, it was different times, whatever. But so again, like my dad never had a religious viewpoint at all that I could see. Neither did my grandparents. They just weren't. And again, no politics were spoken in the house. And I moved out at 18. I moved out with my high school boyfriend. We broke up kind of abruptly, and I ended up with my ex-husband. Literally met him, dated him for 2 months, got engaged, married him 9 months later. This was a girl that was like, I'm never getting married. I'm never having babies. Next thing I know, I'm going to church every Sunday, marrying a good old Christian family, conservative family. And 2 years in, having my first baby, and so on and so forth. So became hyper Christian, became like the good, godly wife, did Sunday school, sang in the choir, had my little children next to me in the pew every Sunday night, Wednesday evening. Yeah, voted Republican for the most part, almost because I felt like I was supposed to. I still had struggles with abortion. That's always been a hard thing for me, because again, at 18, I had one with my ex-boyfriend, my high school boyfriend. Did all the things right, still got pregnant. I was on birth control, was on antibiotics, had no idea that counteracted the effects, because no doctor told me, because doctors don't tell you shit.
Yeah, kind of like the vaccine's doing that right now, actually.
I don't know about that, but but
Oh boy. Oh boy.
oh boy.
Let me finish the story.
Drink your wine first. I love you, girl. I'm just like, go ahead, continue.
But anyway, so
why she brought the whole bottle with her.
Yeah, I did. So super hyper, like totally different lifestyle, really. I mean, I went from kind of like non-existent political religion to like that was everything. And I was miserable, but I had one baby and then another baby and then another baby. So 3 babies later, like my husband got me to quit my job. I was pretty much trapped. It was a really crazy situation. That's a whole nother fucking, that's a fucking whole nother podcast. So long story short, I got divorced. Yeah. Oh, a lot of affairs, not on my part, a lot of bad juju. It's always nearby. Like
she has.
I love it.
Wow.
Anyways, so
awesome.
Got divorced in 2014. Met my now husband later in 2015. We got married in 2017. We've been together almost 5 years. Married almost 5 years. Been together 7. Super happy.
You can get your doll out while you want. Since
Huh?
she's got a tinfoil hat, if you want get your doll out.
Oh my!
Your damn it doll.
Oh my god!
My Biden damn it doll.
Oh my god! I have a Bernie doll, so don't make me go grab that. I have a Bernie homely.
What is
It's
that?
like someone made it for me. It's fucking
This is
adorable.
a
It has
damage cell, so
buttons
you
and
do whatever
everything.
you want to this. You could run it over with your car. You could throw it. I do a lot of bad, like.
I hope it's like your voodoo doll that you're not going to say is your voodoo doll. Anyways, so long story short, remarried. I still went to church. I changed church. I went to a non-denominational church. My kids were still super involved. However, my oldest daughter, who is graduating from high school in 2 months or a month. Oh my God, in a month. Oh my God, I haven't seen it.
I'm with you.
Yeah. So she realized she was bisexual when she was like 11 years old, but I had her ass in the pew every Sunday being told that was wrong. And so she basically thought something was wrong with her. She was hyper fixated on that. Age 13, she kissed a girl and she liked it, but she wanted to make sure I didn't think she liked it.
I was waiting on it.
Kath, it's like natural to me. It's like it's second nature. And then basically during COVID, I really started to kind of pay attention. Now, I will tell you my political views had already kind of shifted a little bit. My oldest daughter had also got me onto some different YouTubers that were like leftists, but like just really informative. Like I wasn't watching them as much for their opinion as just like the information. So it kind of opened my eyes to some things that I really didn't know, because again, it was one of these situations it wasn't in my bubble. And it was like for the first time in my life. And then I worked for a public school. So I started working for public education 4 years ago now. That was a huge eye opener for me. Kind of being on the other side and seeing the diversity and just what some families are dealing with on a very basic level was eye-opening for me, because it was the first time I was outside of my own space and been like, holy shit, like things that happen with politics, policy, et cetera, have a huge impact on these people. And I never knew it. So that was really big. So that happened before COVID. Then COVID happened and I was kind of isolated with my family. My daughter came out. So it just like things kind of happened in a sequence that made me realize, so am I more middle or Democrat? I don't like to label myself at all. I mean, I even struggle to really have called myself a Republican. I'd say I was a conservative at best. And just because I tended to vote Republican, but like, I didn't really have any belief system that I think really, I definitely had viewpoints that I don't have now about, I was definitely one of those people like, people shouldn't live off the system. And then I had to live off the system. Like, so, when I got divorced, my ex-husband lost his job and lost our insurance. And like, I had been not working. So I went back to work because I asked for the divorce and I was like, I'm going to go back to work. I don't want you paying me alimony. Like, I'm going to do this shit. I moved out of the house. And so basically, I was like poverty stricken because I was making, $10,000 a year because I'd gotten a part-time job initially looking for full-time work. I didn't have any health benefits. So I got, famous for my kids. I was on EBT stamps for a year and a half. Like, so a lot of things happened in my life after my divorce that really showed me another side of my bubble that didn't exist before that. And so I think that's a huge factor on why I changed on so many perspectives and point of views and just the way I view politics now.
Good. So, I want to touch on your, so you mentioned that you were a teacher for 4 years now?
I'm not a teacher. I just work. I'm admin, and I also I'm the nurse sometimes. I
Got it.
am
Okay.
TA sometimes. I'm whatever they
Jack of all trades.
Yes.
Okay. Got it. So I kind of want to touch on that with you because, there was a really big bill that was passed here in Florida, and me being a gay man, obviously obviously I had to look into it, right? Because when it came out, before it got all of the hype that it did, I had gotten this young gay man's videos that was like kind of a gaslight video. And he kept calling it this gay bill, this gay bill. I'm like, there's no way that there's a bill that can say that it's don't say gay. Like our system, there's no way. So I said, well, I'm going to look into this. So I pulled the bill and I read the bill. Yes, Scott, we go through this every week. It's our inside joke, Jess.
I assumed.
So what I'd like to ask you, I guess, being raised a Christian woman and then having a kid that came out at 13, her identifying as being possibly a lesbian at 11, I can relate because I think that I kind of knew I was gay at 7 or 8 years old, but it wasn't something in the household that was pushed on me, or it wasn't something that it was exaggerated. But I think that what people are not understanding in this bill is that had this been a situation when I was a kid and teachers were telling me that I can be a boy or a girl, I might not be a man today. I might not just be a gay man today. I might have did something drastic at a young age when I wasn't mentally ready. And I want to know what you feel this bill does for parents and children, and are you for it or are you against it? Just
so super against it. But let me give you a couple reasons. Okay.
Okay.
So first of all, nowhere in the curriculum in Florida, because I looked at it, because it's still the existing curriculum. This doesn't go into effect until July. But nowhere in the curriculum were there any nuances of teachers teaching kids to be gay, teaching kids about sexual education or sexual act, so whatever.
Agreed on that.
So that was not in existence. And basically, Florida is very similar to Virginia, where you have like a family life optional course at 5th grade. And then usually it's incorporated in middle school with your health class, at some point. It's very basic though. It's like, it's like, hey, you're going to bleed from these parts. You're going to start growing hair. You're going to start waking up with a wet, like it's very basic.
I remember those classes in 5th.
Right. So that's the most sexual education that is in existence in the curriculum that is in Florida. Okay. So I think my issue with the bill, couple things. First off, the original bill, now I get that it's been amended, I get that it's changed, but the original bill did actually address the LGBTQ community directly, which tells me that when the author put that in there originally, that was a huge part of the intention and target. Now, obviously, it was written out and made even more vague. My other issue with it is multiple amendments to make it more direct, to maybe target what you're talking about, to specifically say a teacher cannot tell a student they can be a girl or a boy, or teach them, or like push those values on them. Those were introduced as amendments and dismissed. They wanted to keep the vagueness of it. And my big issue with it is, and I talked actually about this to Texan and Kat in a live, random live. Two of my big issues with this bill. One, I personally think we need to talk about a more basic sex education, even as young as kindergarten. And let me explain why. 60 to 70% of child abuse, child sexual abuse, regular abuse occurs in the household by either a family member or a friend of family member. So when you're, in other words, and I get this whole like, let's empower parents. But the problem is sometimes when we're not looking at everybody's family, and this was a big insight for me working in the school system, seeing CPS calls, seeing children that are being abused, having to seek out the signs as, administrators or teachers or counselors. And that's very hard sometimes. If we had a basic form, elementary style consent that says, this is girls' parts, this is girl parts, very medical. We're not like getting into the, we're not getting into the bones and getting into the details about it, but just very basic, and say, there's certain things that are off limits at all times to other people. These are yours. These are your, et cetera. And then also teaching consent with the sense like, if you don't want Johnny to hold your hand, that's okay. You can tell Johnny, no, thank you. If you don't want Sally to hug you, that's okay. You can say no, thank you. So there's both a means of telling them about their body so that they know that these things are off limits, and also telling them about sexual or consent in a non-sexual way so that they understand the ability to say no, the ability to tell adults, hey, someone is making me uncomfortable. Something's happening at home, something, so that's my one side of the argument. My other side of the argument is, because of the vagueness of the bill. And that's why a teacher recently put a letter out to kind of push back on the bill. They can actually, let's say, I don't know, you don't have kids. I have kids. Every child I have, all 3 of them, their kindergarten assignment was an All About Me assignment or a family tree assignment. So the first week of school, they bring a big poster board in with pictures from their house of their mom, their dad, their dog, their siblings to share with the class. Because 1, it's, talking about family dynamics, which is a great lesson in kindergarten. But 2, it's giving kids that are going from being at home, because not everyone's in preschool, to being in a new social environment that's a little scary and getting to bring something familiar to school to share with their classmates. Okay. So it's a very helpful, that's why I think every school that I know of has done it for kindergarten, because my girls went to 3 different kindergartens in 3 different districts.
Absolutely.
So let's say that Johnny sits down and he shows his poster board and he's got his mom and his dad and his dog and his brother Billy, and they talks for 15 minutes about it. And kids are like, oh, what does your dog eat? Blah, blah. Now, let's say Sally's turn comes up and she goes, these are my mom's. If any questions arise from that comment, why do you have 2 moms? If Johnny raises his hand, why do you have 2 moms? The teacher can simply say, some families look different, but based on this bill, if she doesn't stop the conversation, and even just that question being asked could cause, because it's so vague, that district to be sued. Johnny goes home and says, I found out Sally has 2 moms in class today when we did our family tree discussion. Based on this bill and simplicity and vagueness of it, Johnny's parents can sue the district. Now, whether or not they win is here or there, but that's funds that the school system is going to have to come up with. And I feel like
I agree with
his bill is not necessary. It's a combination of targeting a group of people, but I also think it's targeting public education, because I've watched Ron DeSantis funnel money into charter and private schools with vouchers at a huge sum from public education funds. And this is another thing I'm passionate about, because I do work in public education. Like private schools already have anywhere from, I think the total was $17,000 to $80,000 per student per year in funding with no overhead. They don't have a school board and superintendent and all this bullshit. They're private schools. They're very streamlined. Meanwhile, public schools have $6,000 to $12,000 per student per year with a shit ton of overhead. And yet we have politicians funneling money from that budget into private school vouchers. So I have a problem with that. And I feel like bills like this and allowing for arbitrary lawsuits that are going to further deficit these budgets are super harmful and arbitrary. That's me.
I actually I have a conservative mom that's fighting in Sarasota right now for unmasking the kids. I'm not getting into that right now with you.
I mean, we're unmasked in my school, so I can't really.
She's actually got one eye on DeSantis like this, because she mentioned exactly what you did, what you just mentioned, when it comes to the private schools and money going through charter schools and stuff. This is a real thing, guys. Look up Candy. You know Candy and Zach. Candy has been she's conservative. She fights for school boards all the time, fights for the kids. But she's like, watch out for that group. Watch out for DeSantis, because DeSantis is doing that.
She's been saying that for a while.
And
She's been saying that for a long time.
She gets a lot of hate for conservatives. Okay, so I want to, as Jen Psaki would say, circle back real quick.
Give us a pop.
She circles so much. So I agree with you, Jess. I don't think that if in that situation in the classroom, if a student says something like that, we're now in open dialogue, and somebody said here, teachers have our children longer than we do in the day. They need the open dialogue with our kids. I agree with that. What I think the job of because what we're seeing a lot of radicalized teachers right now, where they are indeed out of turn throwing things at kids. That I think is wrong. But what you said, I think, is not a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing for that teacher to have that discussion when it comes up. But their job at the end of the day is to say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I just want to let you know I did have X, Y, and Z conversation today with Johnny. And I just want to let you know that this is what it is. Like, this is it. Like, have that conversation at home if you want. And I bet you 99.9% of the time, the parents will be like, thank you for letting me know that. That's really important. Like, thank you.
You're going to have your one-offs, of course.
Of course. I mean, of course.
Always.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm saying generally, I think most parents would be okay with that. I think what parents are not okay with is when their kids are going to school and then their kids are coming home and they're like, and they're 6 and they're like, I want to be a girl today. And they're like, well, what? And they're not ready for that. Like, they're not ready for that conversation yet.
And I get that. And like,
I also want to say before you go on,
no, go ahead.
agree with the sexual abuse. That's a great point. I never thought about of that. I think that's a general like sexual abuse conversation. This is my no-no. These are your no-no spots. But here's the problem, Jess, and this is why I think that it's so disturbing is another thing that had sparked this issue, and Tex and I had talked about it this week, was some of these parents have been finding in elementary school libraries kids being taught in the books how to masturbate. I think that's out of line.
Okay, so while I don't want kids to be taught that, a lot of kids masturbate at 3, 4, 5, 6. Like, I mean, it's when you discover your body, you're like, oh, that feels like, I'm not trying to like get into this really weird, deep conversation, but I mean, I've seen kids do it in public education. I've seen kids grinding their desk in kindergarten. Like, so I'm just trying to make you understand that these are not things that need to be necessarily taught. They're kind of self-taught a lot of times. Because again, it's children discovering who they are physically and not just in regards to sexual orientation, just in general. Like, I mean, and I think, and again, like I worked in preschool for several years, so I saw it even at that young age. I did toddlers for 2 and 3. I did 2 and 3s before I got married, and when I first was married, and then I was out of education or out of this, out of working with children for a number of years. I was a nanny for a while, so I could stay at home 2 years when my daughter was born. But like I said, the last 4 years being in elementary school, and another thing, because you brought it up, we actually have a student that is, her parents have not come out and said she's trans, but she is. And this is something I've watched because I've seen her in my swim team with my girls for since she was 5 years old. No teachers teaching and her parents are not trying to navigate it, which is really hard too, which makes me think of, I don't know if you saw the woman that DeSantis kind of used as his spokesmodel to create and put this bill out, which is the mom that's making the claims that the teachers had these conversations with their child who was wanting to be identified. So I don't know if you've seen the emails from this mom, but even the superintendent apologizing to the parent, because this mom was the one that came to the math teacher and told her, I know my daughter, she came to her asking her for guidance. Like, my daughter is wanting to be called by Jay. She's having some questioning about her sexual orientation. I really want assistance. And then she said, I'm going to put it in her, put it on my child's lap. Let her lead the way. They had this back. I read all the emails between the two, the parent and the teacher, that were not, stricken, that you could have access to. And long story short, this teacher was advocating with this student and being supportive to this mom. And she flipped the script because I think her daughter who wants to be a son, I think, but went forward and was like, hey, I want to be called this. And they were advocating and doing what the child had said. And then the mom got mad and accused the school of doing things without their knowledge. Based on the emails, she not only was knowledgeable, she brought it to their attention. So I'm upset because I feel like narratives like that are controlling entire bills. It's like we said before before we got live. There's extremists on both sides. I will not deny that. Now, I have a different viewpoint on the extremists versus the left and the right because of where I land on the political spectrum. Sure. However, I can't say, I have a problem when we create legislation and create this imaginary concern when we see this rando person on TikTok, like I've seen the preschool teachers, like I tell my students that they can, like, I get it. There's going to be outliers. There's
they're
always
not,
gonna be
they're not
outliers.
making the point. They're not making the point like
Right.
you are.
Right. And I get that. But and I get that. And they're the ones that drive this this emotional fuel and literally, in my opinion, give the right wing a fucking load the gun so they can shoot, you know, like, hey, look at this lady over here. This is all of them, which it's not. Like, I know trans teachers, I know gay teachers, like they are not pushing their agenda. They're there to be a support system for their kids, to educate their kids, and to just be somebody, you know, be there for them. Like,
Sure.
They don't care what they are or who they are, or, you know, that's not there's no agenda. I hate that fucking word, agenda. And so I think that's the problem. We're so focused on the extremes that exist. Like, I get mad when I see abortion videos where they're like, they leave Planned Parenthood, just drop my kid off. I hate those fucking videos because I feel like it does a detriment to people like me who went through an abortion, don't regret it, but understand the emotional experience of it and want to continue to advocate for women to have that choice. Like, but I also feel there's limits. Like, I don't believe in abortions after viability unless it's at a concern for the mom's well-being. That's how I feel. And I feel like, and Roe versus Wade pretty much had that. It was viability. It was up to 22 weeks. So, like, anyways, I definitely think that the extremists give everybody that's really trying to work and motivate change and create policy that is for everyone a bad name. So I'm just frustrated because I feel like it's just happening at a rapid pace right now.
And Jess, you know what else it does too, and I'm glad that you brought that up, and I'm glad that there's teachers out there that are normal support systems for their students and not pushing the agenda. That makes me feel a lot better about my nieces and nephews going to school. But what it does too, and a lot of people don't realize, and this is why, you know, a lot of gay conservatives are so fired up about it, just like a lot of Republicans are fired up with the issue, is because it really does give a lot of gay men and women that are kind of just leading this normal life, right? Like, we don't have, I know, the agenda. I know you hate that word, but it's true. Like, we're not like after your kids. You know what I'm saying? Like,
they love me saying Biden's a potato. It's like, screen record, guys. I said
it. Well, this will be live and it'll be up for good. No, but it gives, like, you know, there are a lot of, there's a lot of Christian Republican people in this country that I've gotten support from because I'm out of the norm, right? For them, like, they appreciate my voice because I don't push my ideology or I push my lifestyle on them. But it infuriates me because there are those extreme people that are on social media who are like, hi, give your kids the phone for a second. Here's the phone.
I like him. I'm so mad you brought him up.
Talk about.
Ant's face said it all.
If I walked in and my kid was watching him, I would literally break the phone with a hammer. And here's the thing, is because they don't need to, like, nobody taught me to be the way that, like, nobody, like, I feel like he's like, it's just creepy to me. It's kind of like, it's just giving us a bad name, a lot of us a bad name. And it makes gay people seem like pedophiles, especially coming from a place where homosexuals used to be seen kind of in a pedophilia way.
Well, they've always been, but that's a bigger issue.
Yeah, but then they kind of, it seems like they're pushing that. Like, it makes the people who are like, okay, I don't think that anymore, and then they see a video of that guy and they're like, whoa, now I think, like, that's weird. I'm thinking that again. Does that make sense?
But I mean, I hear what you're saying, but, like, I also feel like someone should, if they want to be wild and frilly, and, like, I don't knock that. And, like, I know the exact video you're talking about.
Yes.
And I actually saw some conservatives stitching that video and not hating it. They understood what, like, because if you watch the whole video, like, they're.
Oh, I watch it.
Yeah. But I mean,
I'm going to see if I can find mine to show you what I did. But go ahead.
Okay. But no, I'm just saying, like, I think, like, I'm frustrated. Okay, so I don't know if you saw my video.
I don't think that Ant minds the like flamboyancy.
I don't. Look, I worked in Boys Town, Chicago. A lot of my friends are trans. A lot. I for God's sakes, I was on the Pride float every year in booty shorts. I was about 40, 50 pounds lighter, but younger and funner. But I have drag queen friends that are like, we're on RuPaul's Drag Race, and I don't mind those people. I love those people. I think they have great hearts. I think they're sending out the wrong message when it comes to certain issues, when it's based around small children. I'm not talking about your 5th, 6th, 7th graders. That's not what I'm talking about, because by that point, they've kind of already started to. I'm talking about, like, I don't want a drag queen reading a book to my kindergartners. Like,
see, I don't mind that.
See,
and I'm not like
I know
that doesn't bother me. But I guess my thing is, this goes back to seeing these people in daily life. Like, okay, let me put it to you this way: if I go into a grocery store, I can't with my kid, no matter what the age. I don't know who's going to be in there. So yeah. Why not in a safe, controlled environment where they're getting to find out that these people are just regular people, reading a book to them, or whatever the case may be? Why not want to have those types of interactions versus seeing them randomly at the grocery store and having your child be wide-eyed and having very uncomfortable conversations? And like I guess that's my point. Like, we're always going to be in a situation, whether we want to. I mean, unless you live in a fucking shell of a box, you're going to be exposed to people that are like that, no matter what you do. And I think that's another issue that I have. Like, I'm at the point now, and my cousins, my niece and nephew are both homeschooled, but I'm at the point now when people kind of push back about my feelings on, like, the parental rights bill in Florida, whatever. I'm like, then fucking homeschool your kids, because the reality is you cannot shelter your kids from the existence of other people. There are going to be kids that identify, maybe non-binary or trans. Like I said, I have a student that since kindergarten has been making it very clear, and nobody's guided them. I mean, their parent has literally been treading water trying to figure it out and make their child feel comfortable and safe. So nobody's pushing this idea. So why not create an environment where we're like, this is okay? Like, we had actually a trans a teacher that was a sub come in, and it actually kind of broke my heart, because obviously not all trans are the same. There are some trans on here that, like, you have no idea, and there are other trans that you can tell, and I'm not they're all beautiful, but I'm just saying,
not dogging them, but yeah, you're right.
No, I'm just being realistic. And this particular trans woman, you could tell that they were still transitioning. And there was a lot of bullying, and not only from students, from staff. Sure. And I'm like, why are we creating an environment that's our go-to? And that's my problem. Because the reality is that trans woman was a kid at some point in their life. And, it's just, I just feel like we've created this narrative that's made it something it's not.
I hear you. And I half agree with you and I half don't, and that's okay. What I will say to you is, I will be the first person, if I'm in a store and there's, like, remember when that guy was like, "It's ma'am," like, remember that guy where he's like not full trans, but you can tell he's
guy.
Right.
I would stick up for him in the store if I was in the store, because at the end of the day, it doesn't fucking matter what his life is about. Everybody says, "Oh, it's your life, do what you want with it." Okay, so he wants to be called ma'am. How hard is it for you to just call him fucking ma'am and get the fuck on with your day? I get that. I'll do that all day. You want to be called he, her? I don't understand pronouns, but if you want to be called that, it doesn't behoove me to make it a big fucking deal. I'm going to be like, all right, all of y'all then. Them? Okay. Let's go. Y'all want to be called them? Then all 5, 6 people. How many are there? There's one of you? Okay, let's go. I'm just a little bit more, I just don't get it. I'm like an old school, part of the old school gay community where, like, we used to walk around and be like, "Hey, tranny bitch, what's up?" You can't say tranny no more. You know, there's things have gotten out of control because now this Gen Z generation came in. They're like, you can't say tranny, and I'm like, what are you talking about? We used to walk around and call each other tranny all the time. Like, that's old school gay people. There's a new generation now that came up with pronouns that have all these different things, and I get that. I just think that if we want more of Americans right now to jump on board, they got to do it in a way that's not as boom, we're throwing a drag queen in an elementary school to read a book, because there are still a lot of those people that don't agree with that. And maybe I don't know. Maybe there's another. Maybe we could dress somebody like Mrs. Doubtfire and not a drag queen like from the nightclub. I don't
mean,
Mrs. Doubtfire.
But I mean, even I don't know. I mean, it kind of goes back to what you just said, though. Like, you had old school rhetoric and convos and language, and like, times change. Like, I mean, we're not who we were in 1970. Am I right? I mean, I feel like some days our laws are starting to look like it. So, like, I guess my thing is, I think the bigger issue is not so much it's in their face. It's the fact that they don't want it to exist. I mean, I feel like that's the purpose behind these bills. Let's eliminate talks about it, and then it'll go away. I really feel like that's kind of okay. I'm going to show you the video that I got off Telegram today, that I feel like bills like this and rhetoric like this has created.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I think I saw this on your Instagram.
Yeah.
Today we're going to be going hunting for LGBT pedophiles and non-binaries and groomers. LGBT, we're hunting for you. We're going to hunt you down. If you're affiliated with LGBT, you're going to be hunted down and exposed. Hey, you seen any LGBT pedophiles around here? I'm hunting for them, so I just want to make sure the community's safe. Yeah. You haven't seen nothing suspicious, no LGBT people around here? All right. Making sure, man, you know, going hunting today. See you.
So wait, I want you to see this one, because this one bothered me. He goes into a pharmacy.
Thanks, I'm kidding. I'm dead serious. I'm going hunting today. I'm on a safari. Your mask is very disturbing to me because I actually hunt LGBT pedophiles, and I feel very uncomfortable with you with that mask on.
Okay, I'll get someone else.
Yeah, can I speak to a manager? You have a manager? Yeah, is there a manager here?
That's me.
Okay. I don't know. Why is she wearing that satanic mask?
Sir, it's not a satanic mask. If you don't like it, you can find another pharmacist.
She's a pedophile. I don't support pedophiles here.
She's not.
No, she is. She's supporting the sexualization of the kids, and I just...
Okay, so
it's
are
very,
you picking up her
very,
prescription?
very disturbing. So,
Okay, are you picking up her prescription?
not anymore. Not
Okay.
anymore.
Have a nice day.
So, I would like her to take that mask off.
She won't.
Good
I
on the
won't make
manager.
her. Have a nice day.
Yeah. Good on
Christ
the
is
manager.
Lord. You guys are on the wrong side. She's a pedophile.
Oh, buddy, no, you're on the wrong side. No,
Yeah.
Jess, I actually have the chills from that. Okay, that's your extremes, right?
Exactly. It is.
Whether that man was joking or not, like
We went to 12 stores. He was a fucking nightmare.
Okay, drink more wine. I agree with you on that 100%. I would have had to say something to him and put it. That's fucking disturbing. Agree 100%. And yeah, maybe some of this rhetoric is creating those people again. You know, maybe it is. But maybe there's ways that we can work on the way it's presented, not extreme on either side. Whether it be those people that we talked about, where they're like, I'm going to indoctrinate your children, or I'm going to tell you, like, whoa, you're coming on strong, not the way to come. Like,
Right.
I got a fucking room full of Christian like Southern Christians. Like, slow the fuck down. Maybe come at it a different way. Read the room.
Right.
Is all I'm saying.
But the problem is, so like, I know we talked about news before and like it's all shit. But here's the issue. Fox News is showing like the wild preschool teacher that's like, I'm going to make your kids gay. And then MSNBC is showing, actually MSNBC and CNN aren't talking about any of it, which is really making me kind of mad. Because, like, I get that on a federal level, Biden can do little for these, like, state legislations that are being pushed through.
You can meet my husband, Jess.
Hi.
Hi. Everybody knows.
Hello.
It's Jimmy.
We're actually, she's from the other side of the aisle.
Oh, Fort Lauderdale.
No, that's Fort Lauderdale. She's a liberal. Come on.
Wrong aisle, dude. Wrong aisle.
That was the best.
Clean up your aisle 3.
We're having across the aisle.
Oh, they said across the aisle. Like
aisle. Oh, no, babe. I love you. You have a water bottle.
Yes.
I think I'm like, to bring you some wine.
So sweet. Even mosquitoes wanna date him. He's just so kind.
I love it. But like, so I'm very frustrated because all these fucking bills are just going through. He does. Really? He does. I didn't want to say it. I'm so glad somebody said it. Okay, thank you.
I've got to see this character.
So Ant is muscle and nursing personality, and he's married to his doppelganger. Got it. Okay, we're good. We're all caught up. I just like the other side of
Fort Lauderdale.
He thought because we're in the Gulf Coast, he thought that it was the other side of Florida.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. But I'm just frustrated because all these fucking bills are getting pushed through, whether it be, the CRT shit, the LGBT, the abortion, whatever. And nobody's talking about it. They're just ramming these bills through. And again, using extremists, like we talked about, as their emotional motivators. Nobody like me. I would love to have some fucking conversation. Now, I have seen some. I've seen some of the talks on the floor where obviously people on the left are speaking against them, giving, I saw an amazing woman that was the only woman and the only medical provider in the entire General Assembly talking about a recent abortion, and they all dismissed her and passed it anyways, even though she was the only one that even really had a right to talk on the subject between both her career and her, having a uterus. But it's just, I just feel like nobody cares. And I feel like we're getting all of these bills in place. And then it's going to be the fucking Handmaid's Tale. And we're going to be in Gilead. And I'm going to be chained to a, if I can still make babies and forced to have children. I'm this is where my mind's going right now, because I just see the spiral of society from my perspective.
Yeah,
I need to drink more.
You know what's wild to me is coming from a gay man, we see totally different on the issue, and that's fine. But I get where you're coming from, but I don't. And that's okay. But here's one of the videos I did make for you.
This has to show off his work.
Let's go. Listen. Okay? Good. I got it. I got your backpack. I got it. Let's go. Grab your hat. Let's go. Oh, move. One after another. One after another. Let's go. No. Well, what it was is she said, I talked to my students about pronouns, transes, gender expression, and sexuality. She's a pre-K teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So
now the kicker though, pre-K are privatized, unless they're part of. I mean, we do have some public education pre-K that are whether it be
even
typically
even if it's kindergarten, for me, it's a no.
Right, but what I'm saying is for instance, one of the things that in the recent hearing of the new justice, Justice Brown, but I'm sorry, I'm drunk. So one of the things that pissed me off was Ted Cruz was like, do you believe babies are racist? And what killed me about his whole spiraling on this racist baby book was he was talking about a private school. It wasn't a public education. It wasn't talking about CRT and public education. It was a private system school where the curriculum is not only approved by, just the people that oversee the school, but people pay to go there. So It just kind of killed me that was like his talking point. And she even said to him, well, I thought you were talking about public education and I don't approve the books that are, used in the classroom. That's not what my job is on the board. But it just kind of made me laugh because I'm like, you literally just prove your point that CRT is not being taught in public education by talking about a book that's in a private school system and then never showing any evidence of it being in a public education system. So I feel like these are just gaslighting talking points to help motivate their voting base and motivate legislation so that their voting base is like, yeah, we're saving children. We're giving parents rights. We're, and in reality, when you get to the nuts and bolts of it, you're like, but are you really protecting all children when you strip conversations from school that could possibly protect children that are in danger in their own homes? So there's just I have a lot of issues with some of that stuff, I guess.
Yeah, no, I absolutely have an issue with all gaslighting. I mean, that happens on both sides and don't approve of it at all.
Oh yeah, Jen Psaki is the biggest gaslight. She needs a gaslighting award.
Well, she's leaving, so you don't have to worry about her anymore.
Leave! You said you were leaving months ago. Why are you here still? Go!
She's circling back. Shut up.
What is she going to circle back to the first thing she was going to circle back to?
She circled back so much, I'm throwing up. I'm busy.
Well, I know we didn't hit on a lot of topics that I think we kind of all wanted to, but I think overall the discussion was great. I thought.
Oh my God, that went by so fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really
I'm
did.
sorry. I talk a lot.
No, you're fine. I enjoyed listening to you. Really
yeah,
listening to you and Ant, because I mean, like the LGBT conversation, obviously I'm not a part of that community.
Yeah.
So I kind of left that up to Ant to address because it is more on his community. And so what?
You know that I don't associate with that.
Well, you know what I mean.
I'm part of the community in which I live. That's it. I think
He makes his own community.
I think putting people in boxes just it disenfranchises people even more, and I think that it oppresses people even more.
I agree. I
agree. I don't like boxes.
I don't like boxes, and I don't like exclusions either, right? I don't like having somebody excluded from a conversation just because of X, Y, and Z or whatever. So that's why I don't necessarily believe in the exclusions of things, like the no uterus, no opinion type deal. But which is why I quit giving it, because the irony of the whole deal with the no uterus, no opinion is we get told no uterus, no opinion, and every live I do, I get swarmed of female liberals. Where do you stand on abortion? Thought I didn't get an opinion. Now you want my opinion. Which is
it? They can yell at you.
I will say
well, that's the thing. I mean, but like, what about women that don't have uterus?
Yeah. I will say
well, according to Madison Cawthon, he doesn't know if they're women or not. So
well, our Supreme Court justice can't define what a female is. So
we're not biologists. We don't know.
Right.
What I will say is I did watch a very, very emotional video last week or within the last week or so, but there was a young man outside of Planned Parenthood sobbing, crying that his girlfriend was going in to get an abortion. And he said, why can't I have a say? Please don't do this. And he was crying. Does that happen all the time from the fathers? Probably not.
No, it doesn't.
It might be a one-off situation, or that could be a very small percentage. But I think that in a lot of situations, as long as the father wants to be around for it, I think that he should have a say in talking with her if they want to have that conversation together. But I mean, we can go off on a whole other. Maybe we need a part 2.
Well, I think we're gonna need a part 2 and get her back on for sure.
Yeah, for sure,
Okay.
for sure.
And Jess, if you know anybody on the left that can have respectable conversations without getting snarky,
that you won't murder.
I don't know. I won't. I mean, like, I want to keep
you won't
it like
want
this.
to secretly murder while you're talking to them.
No, I want it to be like this, like
Yeah,
just
yeah,
to
I
where
know.
we can have conversation. Like we might agree to disagree, and that's okay, but that we can keep it civil. So if you know anybody, if you'll just let us know, and we'll definitely reach out to them or whatever. But we're all, I know that obviously most people from here probably know you from TikTok, but where else can they find you?
I do have a YouTube. I used to have a podcast with Big Weird Mom, but it was a really focused on, she was on Parler and I was on Telegram, and that was kind of where it like evolved. And both of us have gotten away from it a little bit because it was really hard on our mental health.
Sure.
So that's not happening anymore. But I do post a lot of my lives that I do. I upload them there. So I have YouTube. It's CrazyMotherRunner. I'm on Twitter, which is Crazy Mom Runner. What's my Twitter handle? I don't even know. Is that bad? What's my Twitter handle? Hold on. I'll look it up. Crazy Mom Runner. And then I'm on Instagram also as Crazy Mother Runner.
Would you like me to bring up your link tree? Because I have.
Oh yeah, so I have a link tree. None of you would like it, but I have a link tree. And okay. Unless you follow me and you're not conservative.
Wait a minute, I follow you.
I'm following you right now.
No, I'm saying if you follow me and you're not conservative. I have tons of conservative followers. Well, right now my link tree, which is in all of my bios, the top section is election candidates, particularly ones with grassroots. Obviously I didn't get to run. I'm hoping to run next year locally. But I'm trying to elevate.
Yay for that. We love local.
Thank you. But I'm trying to get elevate some grassroots people around the 50 states. Like I made a video recently reaching out, like saying, hey, who is in your district that's running on the primaries and the election? So I've started compiling links for them. So that's my top thing on my link tree. I have COVID stuff. I know you'd love that.
Oh, you're fine.
BLM stuff. I know you'd love that. So like,
well, BLM, those BLM conversations I will only have privately.
No, yeah. But I'm just saying,
my
links are more educational.
All day.
Yeah, my links are more educational. Okay, they're more educational.
That's okay. What I want everybody to get from this though is this is why Tex and myself and Kat always talk about how important it is to do local stuff and to run locally and make changes if you want to. Grassroots, real people, real Americans. Not career politicians and the good old boys taking over again and again and again. Yep. And people are doing it on the left. So
man, I'm still getting so much hate from my video of Crazy Mother Runner. Because
just
at the end of it,
throw me some dollars, man.
That's what I said at the end of it. I said, I hope she runs again, and I do mean that.
I mean,
and I will donate to her campaign. And
the people that are mad know they throw some dollars at some like they go to like the club and they throw some dollars at somebody. Like, why are you worried about them throwing some dollars at me to run?
That's how I was like, I'm getting so much hate. Like, oh my gosh,
because you said she's running for office.
No, that he donate.
She told us in our live with Kat and I that she had to drop out, and then I went back to her profile and was looking at her videos of her explaining why she had to drop out. And so I made a video for her, because it was local. That's what I advocate for big time, is local. And she had to drop out for death threats. And so I made a video saying how pitiful it was. I don't give a fuck what party they are on, but that I hope she runs and I'll donate if she does.
Yeah. Why do people resort to death threats? Like, is everybody like
I don't know. I mean, and I'm frustrated because a lot of people are like, well, you can't, you just need to ignore it. I'm like, dude, like, I don't live in a gated community. I don't have money for around the clock security. I got 3 kids that walk home by themselves. Like, I need to know that my kids aren't going to walk home and have some psychopath on the front step is all I'm saying. So.
Sure. What is that?
Darren.
Oh my gosh. All right.
Crazy Mother Runner got to meet your husband before I did. That's what she got.
Now she's hot. She's heated.
Oh, now you're going to get videos made for you.
But no, this was great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
On Instagram. Always willing to do, if you ever want to do a live together on Instagram.
Okay. Yeah,
I am not on TikTok anymore, so
I know.
That's okay.
But we'll get her on Instagram with you. That'll be a good live too.
Yeah, for sure.
I've had many
so.
days where I just don't want to be on TikTok anymore. So I feel you. I sympathize.
Yeah.
So-
So less,
very
less
toxic.
dramatic over on Instagram.
It's very death thready. People like to throw around the death.
They do. They do. They like to throw around your
Right.
address and
You're right.
yeah, lots of things. I know. Yeah.
All the things.
All right. Well, with that said, thank you again. Everybody go look her up, give her a follow on all her platforms, support her. And we'll catch you guys next time. Y'all have a good evening.
Bye, guys.